lots and lots of companies, just across the board, overpay for ingestion. Either they have invested heavily in tools that are moving data into systems, or they have gobs and gobs of people working on ingestion. And kind of my view and a sense view of the world is that ingestion is becoming commoditized. There's any number of open source projects. Given a enterprise framework to actually manage those, ingestion should be free. I mean, your data is worth almost zero when you put it in your system because you have to transform it and you have to do things to it and merge it and combine it and put your business rules into it before you can actually use that data and extract value from it. So our mindset is that, particularly for Snowflake and Databricks, that we don't actually charge to ingest into those platforms because you're going to need to add value to it downstream anyway. So overpaying for ingestion means you're under investing in things like data quality and lineage and governance and, frankly, really good orchestration downstream and that kind of stuff. So their side effects are real.
Do you see kind of all the tools and all the platforms kind of shifting towards ingestion, becoming cheaper and cheaper, kind of like storage, where it's eventually $0 just across anywhere?
Yeah, I think in a lot of cases, if you look at what Amazon and Google and Microsoft are doing with their clouds, they're trying to make ingestion easier and easier and easier to the point where you put your data in like an S3 bucket, for example, and then you could just use it from there as a database. Like ingestion as a actual functional attribute of your pipelining starts to become really fuzzy, even if it actually exists anymore. So that's why we look at it as like, it's just the start of your lineage. So if you happen to have the start of your lineage in, a bucket that you control, or your lineage starts in some API somewhere or some other SaaS product, that's fine. But we view overpaying for that as a mistake because it should be near zero cost to pull the data into a queryable environment.
So at DoiT, I work with a variety of customers across all clouds, and we see quite a big variety of different ingestion methods across all our customers. So a lot of our customers do use third-party tools that perhaps aren't needed, that perhaps they were brought in under original project planning for different data pipelines they built, and certain ingestion tools may not be needed. So a lot of our customers are overpaying for these third-party tools that are in turn doing operations within each data warehouse type that perhaps aren't needed. So in BigQuery, for example, certain tools perhaps would cost money in terms of extra licensing, and also the way that they're inserting the data into BigQuery. And often BigQuery would have a cheaper way of doing it. So often, this is a common problem we see, and often something we recommend better ways at DoiT to save a lot of money in this respect.
What's an example? Like, can you give me a scenario of like,
Sure.
You don't have to name the customer, but like what comes to mind when you're giving someone a tip, but how to avoid lots of ingestion costs, overpaying on ingestion?
So it's around understanding the customer's use case. So I had a customer last week that were using a third-party tool to move data from your PostgreSQL database into BigQuery directly, and they weren't aware of all the options they had in terms of the GCP products that were available, and also other ways that you could just query data directly from BigQuery now using federated queries across the databases as well. So a lot of the stuff that the actions that the third-party tool were making were not needed in that pipeline. There were a lot of steps that they were paying for that they didn't need to in that circumstance. So we were able to give the customer all the options available to them, and we found the cheapest one for them, which I won't go into too much depth on the customer themselves, but there were quite a lot of GCP products we looked at that could solve the problem, and also using some of BigQuery's inherent features. And I've seen the same examples across Redshift and Snowflake as well, where, again, it's around the customer knowing what tools are available to them at the cheapest price and where the free batch loading can come in each data warehouse type. So this is a common example we see every day.